Okay, look, I don't hate ants. Like a bunch of other insects and stuff, I've learned to love them. It's just that it feels like ants have been actively terrorizing me all my life. They're super beneficial to the ecosystem, but from my experience, that only applies to outside. They're a nuisance indoors, which is where my problem stems from. They get everywhere around the house and it's super annoying. These guys have even cost us a lot of money in replacing equipment, which we'll get to later. Please, go start your colony outside where you can contribute to society. Which is why, growing up, I've taken countermeasures to their trespassery. I've become an ant-slaying veteran. But that doesn't mean I haven't gotten bit back myself. Let me tell you the stories of my war against ants. Ants have always been a commodity in my house. They were always everywhere. When I was 9, I finally had enough. I wasn't gonna tolerate this any longer. I didn't have any ant spray at the time, so you know what I did? I got a bottle of rubbing alcohol and just sprayed along the line of ants. Later, more ants would show up to clean up the corpses of their fallen brethren, which was when I'd strike and spray them too. I kept up this cycle of spraying, waiting a while for them to show up and clean, then great flood them again. I think this went on for a few days, and eventually they all disappeared. They were gone. I had successfully eradicated, or at least evicted, a whole colony of ants from me and my parents' room.
Counter-terrorists win.
Sometime later they'd come back, but it was okay because I'd be there to stop them. This went on for the following years. But now things start to ramp up because fast forward to when I was about 12 or 13. I was getting ready for school and had just finished taking a shower. I got my towel and started drying myself up. That was when I felt a sting. Then, more stings. There were ants all up in my towel, and I was getting straight up Iron Maiden. I had to rinse them all off and get a new towel. My body was all itchy and I was pissed. How they ended up there is simple. I hung my towel on a wooden rack. The ants chewed through the wood from the inside of the rack, and there was a hole where they came out from. They happened to end up in my towel, and you know the rest. But it got way worse, because ants invading our house have literally cost us thousands in equipment. Thousands in Philippine pesos, I mean. These next incidents, yes, plural, happened when I was about 11 to 14. I was about 11 here, and one day, I went to play on me and my dad's shared PC, but the keyboard was, for some reason, malfunctioning. The keys would commonly not register or register too much, which made typing and gaming a chore. I thought, shoot, this isn't good, but this is a pretty old keyboard that's had a lot of use between me and my dad, so it was inevitable. I'll ask my dad when we can get a new one later. But later on, I would start to get bit by ants. But at first, I just thought, it was just ants being ants. I just got a little unlucky. But a little bit later, I was starting to get bit more frequently and consistently, which is when I thought, okay, this is getting weird. Getting bit this much has never happened to me before. What's going on? So I started to look closer around the desk and noticed a string of ants on the wire of my mouse. Red flag number 1. So I started looking around my desk even more, and behind my school textbooks was a line of ants on my desk, which came from the wall next to it. Red flag number 2. I'd found the source of the ants, so I followed the trail back and found out something horrifying. The reason my keyboard was malfunctioning wasn't just because of age and use. It was because there were ants living inside of my keyboard, messing up all the wiring and inputs of the keys. Of course these indoor scumbags were why I was freaking up my games and typing like this. These guys were back with the sole purpose of bringing inconvenience in my life. Having my fair share of experience before, I was really annoyed. I never even really ate at our desk or anything, and the few times I did, I'd always make sure it's clean or eat with a plate under my mouth. So I don't think I even deserved this torture. And I doubt my dad didn't do the same. Eventually though, my dad bought us a new gaming keyboard because they were built to last, and I got ant spray and sprayed it over the walls and desk to repel ants. So the desk was once again at peace. But then they would come back! Later, the same thing would happen again with the gaming keyboard, after only a year! Now, because this was a high-quality piece of equipment built for durability, it was, you know, pretty dang expensive. Whilst they were down there having a huge rave, I was up here having a huge rage! Nah, I was probably just annoyed as heck. Later, I noticed there were ports at the back for add-ons and wires and stuff, and found out that was where the ants entered from, so I grabbed duct tape and sealed it. It helped a lot, but the damage had already been done, so fast forward some time later, and my dad bought me a new keyboard, which is the one I use to this day, and it's still perfectly functional as when I first got it. By this point, my dad bought his own PC for him to play with because I needed my own computer to work on school and play. My PC is currently stationed in my room, which is ant-proof. Not by design, but because I don't allow any ants to enter or leave alive. Any ants who live outdoors watching this video, keep up the great work. Your contribution to the ecosystem is admirable and super awesome. Any ants who live indoors and aren't being kept as pets watching this video, burn. That's about it for today. Sorry this video took longer but had less content. School's back, so I don't have as much time to work on these videos as I used to. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. This is General Sly easing in. Hello and goodbye.